This is, well, she's in front of the Pentagon logo. I actually don't know which spokesperson this is. Is it the Pentagon spokesperson? But the answer. But
hey, phone a friend.
This is her response to the Netanyahu arrest warrant and this hilarious back and forth with the reporter. He's hard to hear at first, but it gets much better to hear. The answers don't get better. The answers are atrocious.
Speaking of the rules-based order that say you're defending, the ICC today issued 2 warrants against with the Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Netanyahu, and former Defense Minister, Mr. Gallant, alleging that they committed crimes against humanity, war crimes, including using starvation as a tool of war, a weapon of war. What do you think of that decision, and will it cause the department and the secretary to rethink the support you're providing Israel with in its war in Gaza?
Thanks, Fadi, for the question. So the United States fundamentally rejects the court's decision to issue these arrest warrants for senior Israeli officials. We remain concerned by the prosecutor's rush to seek arrest warrants and
rush. A year of genocide. It was a rush. It was a rush to seek arrest warrants.
You know, some of the processes that this has played out in. And again, we've been very clear that the ICC does not have jurisdiction over this matter. So, you know, we're in coordination with our partners, including Israel, discussing
the idea that they don't have jurisdiction because Israel refused to sign on, but they say they have jurisdiction under Palestine. They don't need Israel's permission.
Next steps. I'm not going to have much more for you, as I refer you to the State Department and the White House for a little bit more. But in terms of our support for Israel, we're continuing to support Israel with the assistance it needs in its, you know, fight against Hamas and Lebanese Hezbollah. But that doesn't mean that we can't continue to make clear our concerns on the conduct and how they are conducting those operations, whether it be in Gaza or on the northern border.
So you're rejecting the decision based on, I guess, technicalities and jurisdiction. What do you think of the allegations?
Right. This is a great question. She said we are ignoring, we disagree with the jurisdiction, but what do you think of what's actually in the document, whether you disagree with the jurisdiction or not?
Committing war crimes and crimes against humanity.
Again, we don't see eye to eye on where the ICC is. And as I've said, we reject the court's decision to issue these arrest warrants. So I think that pretty much implies that we don't agree with that decision.
Okay, so what is the legal opinion you're basing your rejection on? Did the department issue any legal opinion on what's been happening in Gaza? Did you study any incidents that were mentioned in the ICC decision?
I'm not aware of a formal legal opinion being issued by this department. I think you've asked me that before. Some of the things that, you know, either public reports or private reports or reports from, you know, NGOs, we always take those seriously. And we've had those conversations from here at the podium. And when Minister Gallant was in the seat previously, you know, the secretary was regularly engaging with him about what was happening in Gaza, what was happening on that northern border in Lebanon. And I mean, we take it so seriously that
what was happening is a way of saying genocide. I don't know if you knew that. Those are synonyms. What was happening there? Things were happening.
Installed a maritime corridor to get aid into Gaza.
Oh my
so
God, you used the corridor. You used that floating piece of shite to send U.S. troops to murder Palestinians who were sheltering in tents.
Yeah. It was there for about a week, and then they took it apart.
Also, can I just point out...
because they didn't know there'd be waves.
Can I just point out that it's a non-white woman?
Oh my God, it's such a relief to hear this coming from a woman of color.
Just like every time the person who raises their hand at the UN, not a white dude, is it?
I feel a lot better about genocide coverage, like running cover for genocide when it's not a white guy. I don't know about you.
It's something that we're going to continue to engage with the Israelis on. And we have people in the region right now engaging on these issues that you're raising. So again, I'm not aware of like a legal review coming from this building, but all the issues that you raise every single day, whether it be here in this briefing room or you know, in our office, we take very seriously. Of course.
So if you don't have any legal assessment, how can you reject what's been presented by a legal body, one of the highest, you know, it's an international law court? How can you reject it if you don't have a legal assessment? Is it a political rejection? And if you don't have a legal assessment?
Yeah, again, Fadi, I'm just not going to have more for you to provide other than what I said is that we reject the court's decision. That doesn't necessarily mean that it has to go through a legal process. We can reject decisions from the court that come down in various forums. We're in discussions with our partners, including Israel, on next steps, but I'm just not going to have more for you.
That's the equivalent of just yelling because.
Mhm.
But what is it about it that you reject? Because. But okay, but specifically legally, because that's what that is. These people are human garbage. But you're right. It does feel good that it's not a white person. That felt pretty good. You wanted to show a moment of Trudeau responding to this.
I really, yeah.
Now that the ICC has issued warrants for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and
Go ahead.
Why is he in somebody's kitchen? What is going on here?
So for those listening to the
What?
podcast, for some reason there is a podium in his kitchen, and I had made the point that perhaps this is something that people in Canada have gotten used to. Like maybe there was an announcement, he's been doing this for a year in his kitchen. I don't know. Is anyone in Canada can tell us whether he always does his press conferences from his kitchen?
I was just scrolling and then I see Trudeau in the kitchen and I'm like, did somebody like catch him in the middle of making a sandwich and ask him about the ICC decision? Like, what is going on
former
here?
Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, Canadian law enforcement is obligated to arrest them should they come to Canada. Will you allow that to happen, or will you step in to prevent an arrest?
First of all, as Canada has always said, it's really important that everyone abide by international law.
Also, whoever's to his left, is that his wife? Looks like so uncomfortable.
It looks like he is ripping them like hard. There's like her face,
or
is
whatever
not
he
happy.
made in that kitchen is really disagreeing with her. She's not. It's not.
But
sitting well.
But this is the funniest. This is the funniest press conference because I don't know whether this has been going on for 3 years and Trudeau always does these things from his kitchen. But it's meant to obviously look like I'm just one of you, right?
Because
but
we
you
all
can't have a
do.
podium
I know.
in the fucking kitchen and go.
We all
"This-
have
look,
podiums in our kitchen where we speak to the nation.
I am just. So you just flipped on a camera and I was here getting my breakfast.
at my podium
this
like I do.
Just couldn't look more fake. And then he's got the bookshelf behind me looks more real than this. And he's got his sleeves rolled up like he's working hard in the kitchen. And all these like perfectly, carefully presented fruits are behind
I mean, it
him.
looks like an Airbnb a little bit. You know, when you walk into an Airbnb and there's like a bowl of fruit, but it's all fake fruit. And then there's like, a coffee maker that doesn't really work, but it looks really nice. That's what this aesthetic is.
It looks like the kitchen display from like IKEA where you're thinking of buying a cabinet and they put fake fruit in
right. Although Trudeau's in IKEA. But so the bottom line here is that Trudeau says that Canada will abide by it. So that's what he's saying. But I couldn't focus on that till like the third time I watched this because I was just so thrown by dude being in someone's kitchen.
Someone in Canada will have to let us know whether this is the norm for.
Yeah, like does he always do this?
Maybe the podium's in a different room every day.
Is he ever in the bathroom?
Yeah, one day it's his bathroom, one day it's down in the basement.